Good evening, everyone. It is now 6:30 p.m., Tuesday, November the 20th, 2018. We're in the council chamber of Ratcliffe City Hall, 411 West Lincoln Trail Boulevard, Ratcliffe, Kentucky. And the regular city council meeting scheduled for this time in this place will now come to order. Is Reverend Chris Johnson here?
I don't think he made it.
If Reverend Chris Johnson is not here, could I impose upon you to lead us in a prayer?
Yes, sir. Be happy to.
And would you remain standing after this for the pledge?
Dear Lord, thank you so much for the day. Thank you for all of our blessings. We ask that you give the mayor and the council wisdom as they conduct the citizens' business tonight for the community. We thank you, Lord, for our veterans. We thank you especially tonight for our women veterans and for women who have sacrificed so much, not only directly in the military, but also in support roles as well. Lord, thank you again for all of our blessings. Help us to be thankful, not just this week, Thanksgiving week, but every week of the year. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Would you join us in a pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Barbara Baker.
Present.
Stan Holmes. Edward Palmer. Present. Tanya Seabrooks.
Present.
Kim Thompson. Present. Chris Yates.
Here.
5 represent tonight's quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, the first order of business is approval of the minutes. And the first minutes are October the 16th, regular meeting. And you have those in your packet and probably have read them. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
You want to do a roll call on the minutes?
Yeah. No. That takes too much time. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The regular minutes are approved. The next one is the minutes for November the 13th work session, and you have those in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. You got them both?
Got them.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now, we have some special guest here this evening. It's not part of your written agenda. And the first guest that I want to introduce is Edna Canada. 97-year-old, World War II Women's Army Auxiliary Corps veteran who enthusiastically and patriotically signed up for the Army in January of 1942, which I remind you is the month after Pearl Harbor. I think she was 20 years old at the time, and she served until the end of World War II. She also married a soldier, Chief Warrant Officer Canada, and spent another 20 years as an Army wife, if I have all that correct. I think I might. With her tonight is her daughter and her son-in-law. Incidentally, I've known the son-in-law for over 30 years. That's why he is what he is. So it's the daughter and the son-in-law and a granddaughter and a great-granddaughter and a great-grandson. So if all of you would please stand, and Edna, you can stand if you want to, or you can let them stand close to you. Now, what we're going to do is give Edith a pin about the size of a quarter that says Kentucky Women Veteran United. We had on the 12th of November here at Colvin Community Center this year our 4th annual Veterans Breakfast. We honored women veterans. And I went to someone who makes things like this, and his name is Brooks Collins, and I told him I wanted him to design these and I wanted to order 100. And he said, I'll design it for you and I'll give you 200. So he gave them to us. It is a pen that he designed. Everybody that looks at it likes it very much. And what I'm going to do now is come down and give this pen to you. And I'm going to take it out of the plastic. And if you will allow me. Now, the way I used to do these with airborne wings is I just...
When you put them on,
Because you're ready to know it.
when you put them on, then they on your chest and the sticks go in your chest. They used to do that when you got promoted too. Can I get in there?
Yes.
And thank you very much. Would like to come by and shake your hand.
Edith Canada.
Actually, 40 years.
Is it 40 years?
Yeah, can you believe this? You were, I think, a captain, and I was the first lieutenant the first time. It sure has.
And now, ma'am, I would like to turn around because you got a round of applause from everybody that's here. And I'd like for you to turn around.
Turn around.
Turn around.
I want you to turn around.
And I'd like for you guys to give her that same. Now, if you would be so kind as to give me permission, I'd like to give you a hug.
Oh, and it's small. Did you get that, Jerry?
What's
That was mine. I know, so I got to do it.
And now we have 3 more women veterans. It's Linda Norris. Would you come forward? Just stand right over here if you would, someplace. Okay.
That's not right.
And Nancy Crow. And Tess Weaver Wardell.
One each retired.
One each retired. And I want to thank all 3 of you for your service. You know, I think this country is what it is because of people like you, ma'am, and people like you. I think you've made the country free. And I think every time we have an opportunity, would you open a couple of those? Every time we have an opportunity to thank you for your service, whether it's on the subway or in a taxi cab or in a grocery store or wherever, that's the right thing to do. And I think in this day and time, when people find out you are a veteran, that's exactly what they do, wherever you are. Of course, the way you're dressed today, people don't probably say that very often. But they do if they know you're a veteran. Now, if you allow me, I will pin you. You think it'll be all right?
Yes.
Want me to just shove it in or?
No. Here, I'll hold that here so it won't show.
She's had that before.
Yes, it is. It's very nice.
We got it.
Okay, thank you.
Tammy,
Tess, I know you went
I
there.
sent them to you. I sent you pictures.
I think I still have the scars.
You think you still have the scar? Tess and I jumped together a long time ago when she went through Air Force. Father-daughter thing that A lot of people don't have.
Thank you.
I won't have you turn around, they're all clapping.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
Ben, thanks again.
Oh, thank you, sir. Ladies, thank you so much. One minute. We want to hold up the wheels of municipality.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tammy. Thanks for coming.
For your information, tomorrow morning at 9:30, we're going to be at Allegra, and we're going to pin another 96-year-old women veteran.
95.
95?
Her birthday, actually.
Is her birthday tomorrow?
Yes.
Her birthday is tomorrow,
And she'll be 95.
and she'll be 95. And then we're going to our own veterans home and pin another woman veteran who is in her 90s? 92.
No, two veterans.
Okay. How old is she?
I don't know.
You don't know? How old's the other one? We're pinning two over there tomorrow, but they, they're in the veterans home. But I never
Veterans
dreamed
Center.
that we would have this many people calling and asking for this pin. But it seems to be pretty popular. Pretty happy about that. Okay. Now on with the meeting.
You want to mention those who came in?
No. We'll do that tomorrow. The first item of business is information, and that's the 2019 Ratcliffe City Council work session and regular meeting schedule. And I just need all of the city council members to look at it again and confirm that that's what you agreed to.
I'd like to propose a change to 5:30 for the work group. We give everybody a better chance to get in here.
You talking about the work session?
Yes.
I thought you might say that, but I think we ought to wait on that until your first meeting in January, January the 7th, so that the whole new city council with your extra new member and your new mayor will all be in agreement.
Okay.
Yeah,
think
I
it's-
thought we talked about that during the work session, waiting until
Yeah.
then.
I did do some research through the ordinances. There is nothing based on the work session itself, just the regular meetings.
Right.
So a time frame can be decided.
And we've changed those times before. When I first came on, we did it at 1:30 in the afternoon. It worked fine for everybody that served on the council, and then, sometimes the residents want to be able to come, and it's hard to do that, so that's why we moved it later. It's at 4:30 now, so that the employees, when they have to come and present information to us, we don't get into as much of an overtime issue. I'm not saying not to change it, I'm just saying that's the reason that it is where it is now. If y'all want to know a little of the history.
So does someone want to make a motion that you adopt this schedule, subject to change at the time of the work session?
But do we need to vote on that? since
I
it's
just
for
say we table it.
information?
No, you don't need to vote on it, you just need to agree to it.
Can we table it?
Huh?
Can we table it?
We'll just table it till January.
Okay?
Yeah,
Give you plenty of time to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I checked all the dates. Dates are
Say what?
good. The dates all check out.
good?
You did
Okay,
good.
well,
Good, I saw that.
I think you
well.
better approve 7 January, or you won't have an approved date to meet.
Oh, okay.
Just agree that you're coming back on the 7th of January.
Right.
And this time it's at 4:30.
Good point.
Before
Yeah,
that, is that gonna work for you?
So that's fine with me,
yeah. We can change it then.
Okay.
if we need to.
And that can be done at a work session.
Yes.
Correct.
I think so.
Because it's not an ordinance.
Right.
Okay, for unfinished business, the first item of business on our schedule is garbage collection and disposal. That bid, and which one of the contractors you want to accept. And Councilwoman Baker and Councilman Yates met with me and the two competitive bidders on the 14th of November and asked all the questions they needed to ask of the two bidders, and then decided who they wanted to give the contract to. And I believe that either Councilwoman Baker or Councilman Yates has called the other three and discussed it with you. And if that's the case, I need a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept a waste management bid for a 3-year contract with once-a-week pickup.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And that's residential and commercial?
Residential and commercial.
And it was 3 years, right?
Yes, 3 years.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion? Do a roll call vote.
Chris Yates,
Yes.
Barbara Baker,
Yes.
Edward Palmer.
Yes.
Tanya Seabrooks.
Yes.
Kim Thompson.
Yes.
That carries, Mr. Mayor.
The next thing is your 2019 holiday schedule. And you've had that to look over also.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2019 holiday schedule for the holidays listed here, which covers January 21st, 2019 to January 1st, 2020.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
One quick question, spring holiday?
Easter.
Oh, okay, all right.
Good Friday.
It's Good Friday.
Good Friday.
All right.
And we don't,
It's a spring holiday.
It's a spring holiday. It just happens to be
Works for
somewhere
me.
around Good Friday. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
calling that.
No, we don't. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Motion carries.
Clearly.
Then we have a first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 12, Article 3, Section 12-29 of the City of Ratcliffe Code of Ordinances entitled Regulation of Parking for the Handicap, and we need a sponsor.
Mayor, I'll sponsor an ordinance regulation of parking for the handicapped.
Thank you, Mr. Yates. This is the ordinance amending Chapter 12, Article 3 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Ratcliffe, Kentucky by amending Section 12-29, Regulation of Parking for the Handicapped. The City Council of the City of Ratcliffe does ordain as follows. Whereas the City Council of the City of Ratcliffe, Kentucky has previously enacted parking standards and regulations in its Code of Ordinances, and whereas the City Council of the City of Ratcliffe, Kentucky desires to amend said ordinance, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ratcliffe, Kentucky as follows. That Article 3, Section 12-29 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Ratcliffe is amended to read as follows. Article 3, Parking, Stopping, and Standing, Section 12-29, Regulation of Parking for the Handicapped. Paragraph A, tag required. It shall be unlawful for any person or agent thereof to park a motor or other vehicle in any parking space in the city designated for use by the handicapped or reserved for handicapped persons, unless the vehicle shall have procured a handicapped car license tag from the Commonwealth or any other state, and unless the vehicle being parked had been occupied by a handicapped person. The absence of any such license tag shall be prima facie evidence of a violation. Paragraph B, violation to be reported. The owner, occupant, or operator of any facility whose parking lot contains a handicapped parking space shall report violations of this section to the police department, which shall, upon such reports or upon their own observation, issue appropriate citations. Paragraph C, impounding of illegally parked vehicles. Any vehicle in violation shall be withdrawn from that parking space and transported to any local garage, service station, or detaining facility. Any owner or driver may redeem his or her vehicle by paying towing and storage charges and any fines or fees levied. Paragraph D, penalty for violation of section. Each violation of this section shall be deemed a violation. Strike misdemeanor. Violation, and upon conviction, the violator shall be fined $250 for each offense plus court costs. Any person violating this section may also be found guilty of a civil offense. The civil fine shall be $250. The civil fine shall be paid directly to the city. If the fine is not paid within 30 days from the date of notification, then the city may recover the fine in a civil action in a court of proper jurisdiction. The city may also obtain injunctions or abatement orders to ensure compliance with this section or pursue administrative remedies when appropriate, including injunctions and abatement proceedings. That is a first reading, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 4 of unfinished business is the proposed deed for Lot 1J Challenger Campus subdivision. All of you have that and have had it for some while, for some time. It's a revision to the original deed, and
Oh, you want me to make a motion?
yes,
I'll make a motion that we approve the deed as the revised amount, not amount, excuse me, but with the advised wording. I'm looking for a date. Is there a date or a number or anything?
No, but you can say and authorize
you're authorizing me.
the mayor to execute the deed.
Okay, and authorize the mayor to execute the deed.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Then that is a roll call.
Thank you.
You okay with that?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Barbara Baker,
Yes.
Chris Yates,
Yes.
Edward Palmer,
Yes.
Tanya Seabrooks,
Yes.
Kim Thompson.
Yes.
That motion carries as well, Mr. Mayor.
I will take this to, I will sign it, since you have authorized me to do that, take it out to Basham Lumber Company, and have to leave it with them because both of them have to sign it, and then pick it up and bring it back and let all of you know when that's done.
Okay.
Okay, the last thing on the agenda is a resolution. And I'm going to read the resolutions to you. I think that the city of Ratcliffe is not being treated fairly. I think closing the county clerk's office, the annex that we have over here, is wrong. And I think it's just the beginning. And I think you should start looking for the warning signs that more is going to happen as county government decides to slight Ratcliffe even more. I already know that the administrative office of the courts wants to close our district court office over here. And I also know that the circuit court clerk, Loretta Crady, is fighting that hard and is going to the administrative office of the courts and trying to get that, to stop that. I would suggest that you also, in 2019, start looking for signs for the library to close, because I think that might be next. I think the city of Ratcliffe is not being treated properly, and I hope all of you on the city council agree with me in the resolution that I'm about to read. All of you already have it, so you've read it. But I want to read it so the people in the audience and the people who are watching this on television can see what we think about this maneuver. It says, whereas for 40 years a county court clerk annex has been maintained at 210 Freedoms Way, Ratcliffe, Kentucky, to serve the northern end of Hardin County, to include Ratcliffe, Vine Grove, West Point, Colesburg, Fort Knox, and points in between. And whereas the population of Ratcliffe alone is over 23,000 tax-paying citizens who contribute significantly to the tax base that supports all county government. And whereas military personnel, active, reserve, and government employees are conveniently served by the Ratcliffe County Court Clerk Annex. And whereas automobile dealers, as an example, new and used, register hundreds of automobiles each month at the annex without having to employ additional personnel to account for the lost travel time. And whereas the citizens and business community of the city and surrounding area who provide significant support for county government to operate are appalled, shocked, and dismayed that the arbitrary decision to close the county court clerk annex in Ratcliffe, and whereas the military personnel at Fort Knox will no longer be able to register their vehicles during authorized lunch breaks, but will be forced to interrupt valuable training time. And now therefore be it resolved that the entire Ratcliffe City Council, representing 23,000 Ratcliffe citizens, join Mayor Mike Weaver in opposing, in the strongest possible terms, the arbitrary decision to close the Ratcliffe County Court Clerk Office Annex. And I hope we can adopt that on this 20th day of November, when the City Council, because I have mentioned you have to vote on this, and I hope I get all 5 of you to do that. Could I get a motion from one of you to say?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Edward Palmer,
Yes.
Barbara Baker,
Yes.
Tanya Seabrooks,
Yes.
Kim Thompson,
Yes.
Chris Yates.
Yes.
That resolution carries.
I was already confident that you would vote this in, so I gave a copy of it to the News Enterprise this afternoon. It'll be in the paper tomorrow.
Good thing,
Well-
good thing, good thing, good thing.
On that note,
Yeah.
sir, the council also sent a letter into the News
I know they did.
Enterprise, but we've yet to see that published.
I've yet to see it, so.
Have you not, you don't have it?
You can take my copy then. You got my copy. I give it to you.
Well, I'm sure when he gets it, he'll publish it because he's been very favorable to the city of Ratcliffe here lately.
Well, I've been looking every day.
It's a good copy.
Let me tell you one more thing. I had to go over to the district court today, and when I came back, there were 4 cars at the annex. The annex is closed. And I had to tell them, you'll have to go to E-Town to register your vehicles. They were not happy with that at all. 2 of them were from Fort Knox, who had come on their lunch hour to register their vehicle. They can't do that if they have to go to E-Town. And it interrupts valuable training time to make that happen. I don't think the decision to do this took into consideration how valuable Fort Knox is to us, how valuable it is to the whole county, to the surrounding counties, to the whole tri-state area. And I don't think they really considered that, and I think they ought to reconsider it. If that was a Toyota plant out there, they would never have done something like this. They don't value Fort Knox the way they should. Anybody on city council want to add to that?
I agree with everything you say, but just to clarify, because I did talk to Debbie Donnelly today, and earlier, or end of last week, whenever we had the ice storm, they were closed because of the generator. They didn't have a generator, so they didn't have power. And then yesterday and today, they're closed because they're having trouble with AT&T with their computer systems or their network, because that was my question to her, and she assures me that hopefully tomorrow they'll get all that settled and they will be open until the 30th. So hopefully we could get everybody in there until then. But I understand and agree 100% with your passion and everything that you've said.
Wow. Opening it up, back up tomorrow until the 30th is such a favor to this end of the community.
No, I'm just
I
saying that's
am-
why they weren't open today.
I am so happy
That's all
about
I'm
that.
saying.
I am bursting at the seams. But thank you for
Well,
saying that.
if you need, because like I have to go get mine registered, and I'm just saying you can still do it
I'm speechless.
tomorrow or next
I'm
week.
speechless. Okay. It's now time for city council and mayor comments, and I think the mayor has commented enough. Anybody on the city council have any comments?
Yeah, I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the community, and I do agree with you 100% on the resolution.
Which way are we going? You guys up?
I'm good.
My turn?
Your turn.
Okay. I agree also with Mayor regarding the whole situation with the county clerk's office. Ratcliffe, this is our city, and we should have a say-so in as to who stays and who goes, and this is a service to our area. And it not just services us, it services the surrounding areas of Vine Grove, West Point, and Fort Knox. And we have to always consider the citizens when a decision is made. So I have to agree with that wholeheartedly. Now to my announcements. December 3rd, the Taste of Radcliffe will be happening, courtesy of the Radcliffe Women's Club at the Colvin Community Center. Tickets are on sale. You can get with any member of the Radcliffe Women's Club. I'm one of them and several others. But the tickets are $10, and it'll be a fun-filled event full with all the food vendors from all over Radcliffe. Come out and have fun and enjoy the magic of Radcliffe. Then there's also, are we having the elves thing?
Yeah, I got it.
You got the elves thing, okay, she's gonna do that. Okay, Barbara has that one. December 25th, mark your calendars, the annual Christmas dinner will be on Christmas Day from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Colvin Community Center. All those who would like to either have dinner so you're not alone on Christmas Day, or someone is less fortunate, are more than welcome to come out from 1 to 4 at the Colvin Community Center for a wonderful meal, some Christmas karaoke, and some fun-filled surprises. And that's all I have. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving.
Did you have something
Happy
else?
Thanksgiving to all. The 23rd Annual Thanksgiving Day Dinner at the Sign of the Love Church will be this Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, 11 to 2 p.m. All welcome. 23 years we've been feeding Radcliffe.
Thank
you have
for
something,
that.
Barbara?
I do. I would like to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. But I do have one other announcement, but it's not really an announcement. Everybody has the limbs down with the ice storm, and the city is coming around currently. Is that correct? And picking
Yes.
up the limbs? So if you be patient and put them out by the road, they will come and pick them up. We have the leaves to do also, but with the overwhelming amount of limbs, it may take a little longer than normal. But I did want to let you know that they are doing that, and they're currently doing that now. And I said happy Thanksgiving, which moves us on to Christmas. On December the 7th from 6 to 9, back at the Colvin Community Center, we're going to have an evening with the elf and the holiday open house. We will have the lights out front. The fire truck with Santa Claus will come down honorary Santa Claus Lane. We'll have sing-alongs. You can vote for your favorite tree at the Festival of the Trees. Mrs. Claus will be there, and Santa, and you can have a free photo with Santa and the elf, and it's the elf. We also have the first annual house decorating contest in Radcliffe, and those will be voted on the inflatables, in the Griswold, and Norman Rockwell. Those are the three categories that you can submit your house, your entry, and then we will have judges that come along, and he will have this information on the website. Also on Friday the 7th, when you are back there with Santa and the elves getting your picture and the sing-along, we also have a Santa's workshop with arts and crafts show that will be going on at that time also. So please come and enjoy us. Enjoy yourself.
Okay, I'm glad you talked about limbs, because I need to tell you what we have to do in order to get them picked up. I rode the city with our engineer yesterday, and it's unbelievable how many limbs are down, and it's going to take us a long time to pick them up. But we're going to do it as fast as we possibly can, and what I've done is gone to Public Works and to Stormwater and to Parks and Recreation, and taking all non-essential people and putting them on leaf pickup. And instead of having a grappling truck with a trailer pulling it, we've taken the trailer off of it, and I have 3 large trucks that follow that, and when one gets filled up, another one comes in, and they keep rotating, trying to get them out. The other thing we've done is I've given them authorization to work until 5:30 every evening, when it becomes dark, and that means an hour and a half of overtime each afternoon or evening in order to get this done as quickly as we can. So be patient. It's going to take time. It's not going to be quickly when we do this. And also, if you put out a bunch of leaves and you put them in the ditch, and after we pick them up, you call and complain because we left some leaves on the far side. The reason we left leaves on the far side is when we park the truck as close as we can to the edge, and we put the vacuum hose out to pick them up, we pick up as far as it will reach. If there are a few more left there, you'll have to bring them further into the ditch for us to reach them. And if it was a normal day and we didn't have to go to another place immediately, we would probably rake them down for you and take them, but now we can't do it. And the other thing that we have going on is we also have another crew with the chipper. We have 2 chippers out there with trucks with them, chipping up the small stuff to get it up. So be patient, get it up as quickly as we can. If there are no other announcements, a motion to adjourn would be appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.